Create two instances. One will be CI server and deployment server. Take t2.micro, it's free. Create new key. Increase your internal storage to 15 GB and launch. Now create deployment server. Take t2.extra large. It contains more power because we are going to install Kubernetes here on the server. And take your internal storage as 30 GB. Okay, now run the CI server. Install Docker. I will provide all these commands in the description. Now we will clone this ReactJS project from GitHub to our server. Copy this, click on code and copy that link. Now git clone and paste. Okay, it is available. Go to that project. Check all the folders. See Docker file is there. Open it. I think it's correct. Now we will tag this image and build it. You need to have account on Docker Hub. So see, Harsha321 is my user ID. We are going to use that here. This is my username from Docker Hub / the image name which you want to give. I will give React app. Successfully tagged. Now check using Docker images. It's available. Now we can run it. We will bind local port with external port 8000 and paste this image ID at the end. It is running, but we need to edit inbound rule for that port 8000 in the security groups. Add rule, give port 8000 anywhere and save. Now we can run the image in the browser. Copy public IP address, paste :8000. See, our to-do app is running. Now close it, close the image using Ctrl+C. Why it is not closing? I think we need to refresh. Again go to our project folder. See, our image is there. Now we will log into the Docker hub using Docker login. Enter username and password. Now Docker push username / image name. Refresh. It is here. Now connect to that deployment server. We will install Docker and Minikube along with kubectl. Copy paste all these commands. Kubectl is now installed. Now we will create new directory as k8s two k8s2. Go to that directory and we will create deployment.yml file. And search that deployment definition on the Kubernetes website. Just copy paste from there. Copy. Paste it here. Now make some changes. Change the name of your deployment. Let's say to do deployment. Make the replicas as 1 as of now. This label and selector name should be same. You can keep it anything, but it should be same. Change this name also. Now change the image name to which we push to the Docker hub. Keep container port as 8000, it was 80, we made it 8000. Now check what was the name of our image. Username / react app. Okay, now apply the changes. kubectl apply -f deployment.yml. Oh, I used a small d. It is capital. See, deployment created. Now check. kubectl get pods. Status should be running. Keep using that command. Yeah, it's running now. See, and they have the property of auto healing and auto scaling. Let's say someone deletes that pod by mistake, but it will be available again. I will show you that. Let's say I am deleting it. Copy this name of the pod. It is deleted, right? Now again let's check kubectl get pods. It's running again. New pod got created. Now let's say if your website is receiving more traffic than expected traffic, then it should not face any downtime or slowness. So that is why now we will make replicas as to, after that traffic will auto scale, it will get distributed. Your app will not face any slowness. Now see, 2 replicas are running. This is the property of auto scaling. Now we have our pods running, right? Then the question is, why do we need service? If they are running perfectly, we can access them, then why do we need service? let's say replicas are 4, then we will have 4 pods, right? This is pod 1, pod 2, pod 3 and pod 4. Each of the pod will be having their own IP address, right? And all the IP addresses will be different. Now let's say if developer wants to access this thing, then how will he access? Because IP addresses keeps changing. So all of these pods comes under cluster, correct? So using the service we will get cluster IP. Because of that cluster IP, it makes accessing pods easier. So that's why we will create service.yml and configure all these things. Okay, now we will create the service.yml. Press I, then copy paste the service definition from Google. Search for service on Kubernetes official website. We got it. Just copy paste it. Now make some changes. Change the name of your service to to-do service. To-do-service. Now, as I told you earlier, this selector and labels should be same always, right? In both deployment and service file. So we need to copy it from deployment file and paste it here. Escape :wq. Go to deployment file. Where is selector? Yeah, just copy this line. app::nginx. Now just paste it below selector. Remove this line and paste it. Make the service port as 8000. Make this target port as 8000. Now apply the changes. Now type kubectl get svc. Look, our service is created and we got the cluster IP as well. Now we will open this service inside our Kubernetes cluster. Just copy this cluster IP. Using Minikube SSH, we will open the application. curl -l http :/ and paste your IP. I don't know why it is taking too much time. something is wrong there. We will try to refresh. There must be some error because it doesn't take much time. Okay, I got the reason for that error. Look in the service definition, the default port is 80. Service port is 80. So, and we have changed it to 8000, that's why. So make this port as 80 and it should work. Apply changes. Get SVC. Now see the service port is 80. Minikube SSH. Copy this cluster IP. Curl -l. Paste that IP. Write http:// before this IP. See, we got the response. We are accessing this service inside our Kubernetes cluster. Now we want to access this service outside of our Kubernetes cluster. So for that we will convert this service into a NodePort service. Press exit, open our service file, press I, and now search for NodePort definition. Yes, this is the definition. Now we will make these two changes. Below spec type is NodePort and at the end line NodePort : the port number. Copy this. paste it below spec. Copy this last line as well. And we will make it 31000. Now apply the changes. Now get svc, and you can see the type is NodePort, and we got our 31000 NodePort. Now we will access this service. Just copy the cluster IP. No, not cluster IP. We will copy Minikube IP. Minikube SSH curl -l and paste your IP. Port. This port we will need, node port we will need to enter here. Okay, we got the response. Now we are accessing the service outside as well. Now I want to run this application on the browser. So for this, I will need to expose the deployment. kubectl expose, type your deployment name, which is mentioned in your deployment.yml file. Okay, I will show you all the names which we are going to use. First open this deployment file. Command node phone. Oh, I forgot to exit the SSH. Exit here. Now open this deployment file. Check what is the name of your deployment. To do -deployment, and your container port is 8000. Now check service.yml file. This is the name of your service, to do -service, and service port is 80. So all these things we are going to use. Now we will expose our deployment. kubectl expose deployment, name of your deployment, then hyphen type equal to NodePort. Your service is now exposed. Now that we were running this application on local, now we will run it globally on the browser. We will just need to do port forwarding to our port, which is 8000. kubectl port forward svc / name of your service. Your local port : service port, which is 80, and then -- address 0.0. First we will need to do edit inbound rule for port 8000 on our deployment server. Select deployment server security, edit inbound rules. It's giving error. Now let's do one thing. To avoid confusion, make your service port as 8000. Control C, and now go to open your service file. Make this service port as 8000. Now edit inbound rule for port 8000. Add rule 8000 anywhere, save. Now try. Internal service port : external port. So we just change service port to 8000. Okay, actually we forgot to apply the changes. Whenever we make any change in service or deployment file, we will need to apply it. Where is that command? No worries, I will write it. Now it will work. Now copy this public IP of your instance. Paste :8000. See, your application is deployed to Kubernetes. It's running on browser as well.